All right, so the first big tournament happened with Avatar. We've got results. This is a standard Magic Online Showcase challenge. Wanted to go over some of the decks, and hopefully this would be some useful information for the people that care about this type of thing. But yeah, we're gonna start in first place. I believe this was player Doomwake. I can check. But I'll try to go over all of the different decks, but I want to do the top 8 on Arena so you can kind of see the curve and all this stuff. So yeah, first place was Doom Switch, not Doomwake, different people. But yeah, this was Is it draw? I don't know what else to call it. We tried this deck. There's already a video up with it. Just Tiger Seal plus Duelist of the Mind plus good Izzet cards. Again, I think this deck won 3 tournaments in the past like couple weeks. So clearly it is good. I played it a bit, and it felt like it could use some work. Not that it's bad. I think it's just kind of carried by the fact that Quantum Riddler is sort of a broken card, and you just have a really low curve because of 3-year standard. The card pool is so large, it's really easy to just have a bunch of good 1-mana cards in your deck. And no matter the format, that's going to be a good strategy. But yeah, I guess I'll go over the new cards. We got Boomerang Basic. This is just a tempo spell. A lot of times you're going to use this to bounce your own Storm Chaser's talent. Tiger Seal is sort of like a Wild Mikado. Even better because it has Vigilance, but in these decks, it's pretty easy to draw a card every turn. We've got Frost Cliff Siege, which can give your creatures +1/+0 trample and haste. That's relevant with Quantum Riddler because you can end up just warping it and killing your opponent. And then Winter Night Stories to enable Mako, and then you can flash it back for 1 mana with Riddler, of course. Mana base, very straightforward. Side deck, we've got counter spells, we've got removal spells. Chandra, this is the first time I've seen this. I'm not even sure what matchup this is for, but just a solid card. I think it's reasonable to have Planeswalkers. And then, yeah, a lot of graveyard hate. Maybe this particular player was worried about the Sultai deck. And then an extra Siege. Siege on the board's kind of interesting. Maybe they were worried about like sweepers or just wanted to use the other mode to draw cards in the grinding matchups. Either way, I think this card is very good. Maybe that's why it's in the sideboard. They wanted to main deck it, but they couldn't find room. And then Pyroclasm, I think, is really good against the Badger Mole Cub decks. So yeah, this is the deck that got first place. I will leave a link to the Magic Online list, so you can look at the whole top 32, but I just want to highlight some of the interesting decks. And obviously, the first place deck is a good place to start. Next up, we have Random Game Actions in second place. This is one of the coolest lists, in my opinion. It's just a mono-white cage deck. So yeah, you're using Collector's Cage to cheat out Overlord, but it's not really a cheaty cage. For the most part, you're just using it as a mid-range card. It gives you, it can hit the 5-drop, obviously, which is good, but also just gives you stats and makes your Warden grow. Yeah, it's just a solid card, and this deck is I think, the most important card that it's using from the new set is Abandoned Air Temple. This was a card I highlighted early on as something that just seems incredibly powerful, so I'm happy to see it, but that's part of why I'm excited about this deck. I'm happy to see it put up a result. Collector's Cage rewards you for going wide, and Air Temple does a very similar thing. There is no Virtue of Loyalty. Maybe that's a card you could consider having, but you don't necessarily need. If you think that card is just weak, you can not play it. But we do have a somewhat weak card in Fortress Kinguard, which is just 2 bodies. I think that's important for Cage, and also it's important for Air Temple, obviously. Parting Gust is a removal spell that can blink your Shepherd. It can blink your Halia if you want. Only 1 Enduring Innocence is kind of surprising to me. But I guess they just decided these other things were more important, and you got to cut cards. That's just how it works. But yeah, we've got Pixies to pick up Novice Inspector, as well as, I guess, the Kinguard. Another list that, it feels arrogant to say it could maybe use some work, but this is a new format, and I do think it's doing powerful things. You can kind of tell with the numbers, maybe this person's figuring some things out, but I'm happy to see a mono-white deck do well. It looks cool, looks fun to play. It's just it's mostly just a fair white beatdown deck, so happy to see it have success in this standard environment, considering how hostile it can be. Side deck, we've got Rest in Pieces for the Sultai deck, I assume primarily. There's a lot of ways you can hate on a graveyard, or different decks that use the graveyard. Aven Interrupter, just a solid sideboard card versus sort of the big mana decks. Avatar's Wrath is another new card in the side deck, kind of interesting in these white piles. Just sort of reuse your cards, clear the board, race. There's a lot of things you could do with this card. But yeah, looking forward to trying that one. Of course, Seam Rip, one of the more powerful removal spells in the format, split up as a solid sweeper that creature decks can sometimes play. and then Yura, and yeah, there's 2 Avatar's Wrath. So that is the list they got second. Really cool. I'll definitely be trying this one out, so look forward to that on the channel. All right, next up, we've got a kind of boring one, but we should go over the decks in the top 8. And third place, Dimir midrange. Same thing. It's been around basically since Rafine. Yeah. So let's go over the sideboard, I guess. There's not too much to talk about in the main deck. Just some different removal spells. Kaito, Curiosity, Tidebinders. But we do see Day of Black Sun, which is kind of an interesting card. It can deal with tokens for 2 mana, so if your opponent does a lot of Storm Chase or Talenting, you can clean things up with this. But yeah, just a sweeper. Maybe this is also potentially good against the Badger Mole Cub decks, where they make a bunch of lands. You could blow those up because there's 0 mana value. Also, they lose the ability to come back, as far as I can tell. Looks like that's the case, so you just get to blow up all your opponent's lands. Other than that, pretty stock Dimir deck. Let's move on. Next up in 4th, we have another Izzet deck. I don't know what to call this. I guess I've kind of been calling it Izzet Scam, just because Splash Portal plus Quantum Riddler is sort of similar to the Grief stuff that happened in the past. Yeah, this is just Thundertrap Trainer plus Splash Portal plus Quantum Riddler. Another version of the Izzet deck. I assume with time we'll see these Izzet decks sort of blend into one thing. People will figure out what the best thing to do is. I don't really have the answer right now. I just think all these Izzet decks are solid. I appreciate that Thundertrap Trainer does make Boomerang basics a little bit better. But yeah, you see stock up. Other than that, there's not too much different. Maybe a slightly different mana base. Side deck is also going to look very similar. So yeah, this is 4th place. This is another shade of Izzet, if you want to try a different version. But yeah. All right, next up, we've got this blue-white control deck using Wan Shi Tong and splashing for Jeskai Revelation, and a single fire magic in the board. Again, this kind of feels like another deck that is just trying different things out. But yeah, it's if you like control, this person put up a solid result in the top 8. Not too much to say here. Notably, Aang's Iceberg, solid removal spell. Flash, obviously, incredibly relevant. Banishing Light, not that exciting, but at flash speed, much more appealing. Sweepers can be good against the Ouroboros decks, so I could see how something like this would be appealing. And then you see Wan Shi Tong make an appearance in Standard. This is just like another Shark Typhoon, right? And it plays well with Demolition Field, letting you draw cards. So another way to get the Mountain, Meringue River Regent as a card draw spell, Elspeth as the win condition. Other than that, just a pretty stock-ish blue-white control deck, but we've got a new card in Wan Shi Tong and Iceberg, so nice to see. Sideboard has some Aangs. I'm not really sure where these are good. Might just be the case of someone trying out new cards. That's going to happen a lot with like the first big tournament of a new format. River Turn Monument, I assume this is for the mirror, some graveyard hate, counter spells, extra removal depending on where you want to be positioned in a matchup, and then Authority, because the red decks are still pretty good. I don't think there are any in the top 8, but I believe there were some in the top 16, but we will see when we go over it all. But yeah, blue-white control, check it out. All right, clearly I spoke too soon, because we have a red deck here. This one is not, Authority of the Council is not the best against this deck, to be honest, but it is still a solid card. But yeah, we've got Leyline of Residence. So they banned Monstrous Rage, they banned Hardfire Hero. I guess Steel Cutter didn't go in this deck necessarily, but they banned Screaming Nemesis. They keep banning red cards, but turns out 3 years is a lot of years worth of cards. You can just keep doing stuff. No matter really what they ban, you could probably just find another way to build your deck, even if it's a little bit worse. But yeah, here we have that with Leyline of Resonance. Incredibly powerful 0 mana card that lets you copy spells alongside Slickshot Show Off and Callous Sellsword to just murder people to death. Notably, of course, the Frantic Scapegoat, which has excellent art. It's a menace threat. I could do some suspecting. But yeah, Stadium Headliner is another nice one, where it gives you extra bodies to put your pump spells on or move them around, depending on how your opponent blocks or doesn't block. I think I had an opponent go turn 0 Leyline Headliner into double turn Inside Out, and then they just flung the Headliner, and they got to double manifest because the other thing died, and I took 1 billion damage. But yeah, this deck does some really powerful things. Leyline's busted card. Side deck, we have some Paw Patch Recruits and Questing Druids for the grinding matchups. You can maybe even just take out some of the ley lines and just switch into a more traditional red deck with a little more card advantage. And then we've got Fire Magic for, I assume, the Cub decks, any of the small creature decks. Rage, if you just want to go fast. Basically, I assume this is good versus things like Combo. Reclamation is a way to interact. Maybe you want to blow up your opponent's ley lines or just hate on their graveyard, all sorts of things with that. And then extra Snakeskin Veil, probably for the black decks. So that will round out the top 8. I'm going to quickly go over to Magic Online, and we'll just go through the top 32. But this is the top 8 decks. I wanted to show them over on Arena because it's a little bit cleaner. But yeah, see you for the top 32. All right, let's go through it. So this is some of the decks we already went through. First was the Izzet deck. Second was the Mono White Cage deck. Blue Black in third. Second Izzet deck, top 4. Fifth place, another blue-black deck. I didn't go over that. Sixth place is the blue-white control deck. Seventh place, another Izzet deck. So 2 blue-blacks and then 2 Izzet duelist in the top 8 for whatever that's worth if you're keeping score. Ninth place, another one of the Izzet decks. 10th place this is the first time you're going to see Badger Mole Cub, Drunith, and Ortoboroid together. I don't think anything too fancy going on with the list. See a Restless Vinestalk. I think that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, this was the deck a lot of people thought would be the best deck going in. I believe it got like 6 at the top 8 of one of the challenges. But 0 in the top 8 for the Showcase Challenge, which is the bigger challenge of all of them. Blue-black with a Vren and a Wanchitong. Other than that, pretty standard stuff. We have a Ice Till Explorer ramp deck. This is one of the more spicy decks. I don't even know what... Fortunately, Moto doesn't show me all the cards. Okay, this is the Sandman. Yeah, but this is just like ramp, mill, main deck Black Sun, or Day of Black Sun. This is the sweeper from Avatar. Yeah, so this is kind of like the Sultai deck, but instead of doing living end stuff, you're just killing people with Sandmans and milling your deck a ton. Oaf in 13th. I think this is the person who made the Tiger Seal shell. So yeah, this was the deck that won the tournament. So in 13th place, not too much of a surprise. 14th place, we have Badger Mole Cub, Ice Till Explorer. I don't even know what Might Form Harmonizer is, but this is just like a ramp deck, very similar to the other Sandman deck. Still has Molt Tender. So notably 2 of that in the top 16. Maybe this is something worth trying if you want to just try a new deck. Maybe you're tired of playing blue-black. Cave Dan 15th with Badger Mole Cub plus Ice Till Explorer. Again, 3rd in the top 16. Just Sandman pile. So kind of interesting. Didn't notice that in my first go through. And then here we'll see a more traditional mono red deck in 16th place. This is Oger plus Needlehead, Scalding Viper. And then we've got Iroh's Demonstration as a new card. So let's go through the rest quickly. Another Izzet deck with Tiger Seal. 18th place, a life gain deck. No, yeah, this is just life gain. This is just black, white, Amalia. Very cool deck, actually. Another one I didn't notice in the first go through. 19th place, we've got Jeskai, more traditional Jeskai control. Is this Jeskai black? Nope, just Jeskai control. 20th, the blue-green deck. This person has Spyglass Siren and Quantum Riddler. Can't go wrong with those cards. I think that's pretty reasonable things to include in your deck. I believe this is Allies. Yep, so just Allies. Allies in the top 32. Nice. I thought the Ally deck was really strong. I could see how it could potentially have problems against some of the red decks. And the decks with Sweeper. You do see a lot of decks with Sweepers in this top 32. But cool to see the Ally deck, another new deck. Blue-black, Izzet, Tiger Seal. This is the Bant combo deck. So yeah, this is another new deck. I haven't played against this all that much. I think I played against it once and I beat it, but it seems really powerful. It's a combo deck where you can just make infinite 1/1s with Doc and Appa and an Airbend card, because all your Airbend costs is 0. I kind of feel like this is something that they missed. I can't imagine that they wanted this to be a thing in Standard, but I wouldn't be surprised if this strategy gets worked on and becomes really powerful moving forward. So yeah, this is seeing it in the top 32. Is it Tiger Seal? I think everyone's just playing the same list for the most part. 26th place, Bant combo deck again. Okay, so 2 in the top 32. This is a black Beseech the Mirror United Battlefront Repurposing base simulacrum synthesizer deck. Okay, this one's pretty spicy, so I guess we're 4 colors, right? White, black, blue, red, or we're probably Esper and we just have Fire Crystal. Okay, fair enough. That's cool. Another synthesizer deck. Wow, okay. 4 main deck authorities. All right, red deck. Sorry about that. A blue-white flyer deck. Okay, this one is also pretty cool. So this has abandoned air temple as a way to grow your board. We've got Curiosity, and then we've got Aang as sort of a spell queller. Plume, Creed, Escort to protect your creatures. Sage of the Skies, and then I assume there's Momo somewhere. There it is. 4 Momos, so this makes all of your flying cards cheaper. And some Shelter by Ghost, Air, Nomad Legacy. So that's cool. 29th place, Blue-White Flyers. Love to see that. Jeskai Control. Another synthesizer deck. So a bunch of people played this, which is surprising. I would not have suspected that. This one has main deck, Split Up, and Day of Judgment, so a little bit more controlling. And finally, in 32nd place, we have, again, Jeskai, no black. So it looks like everyone that did well with Jeskai decided to cut the black from their deck. That was something that I thought made sense from the start. You know, the Mardu card is cool. It's definitely good against very specific things, but it's still a 4-mana card, and you have to add a 4th color to your deck. So that is the top 32 of the Showcase Challenge. I just wanted to show you guys, go over some things. Hopefully that is helpful. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, and I will see you in the next video. Going to be doing gameplay with a lot of these decks, so if you want to see that. Also, it's possible I've already done some gameplay with some of these decks, so you can check out past videos as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.